Ambulance? Ambulancia? Is it good? Is it bad? Should you go? Should you not? Find out today. Hi, how you doing today? It's just Jesse. Hope you're having a good day. And today, yes, Ambulance, we are going to go at AMC Niles 12 at 320 in IMAX. That's right, in IMAX. If you don't know who I am, hello. Hi, my name is Jess. My YouTube channel, it's just Jess. Here we do movie reviews, giving you the biggest and best reviews of the movies that are released at this time. So please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Stick around towards the end because we are going to talk about Ambulance, Ambulancia. We're going to leave. So we got the movie Ambulance, Ambulancia. Now, before we even talk about asking the question if this movie worth going in IMAX, we're going to discuss what is it first so then we can talk about the IMAX version. So Ambulance or Ambulancia is a high-speed action-adventure thriller octane robbery bank heist set in the city of Los Angeles with the director Michael Bay. So now that you know the director, you kind of get an idea where this movie is going to be at with the action, with the over-dramatic cars, with the airplanes, or with the drone shots. Now, when I say drone shots in this movie, this is particular for this movie, drone shots and sound. Is this movie worth going in IMAX? Honestly, if you like Michael Bay movies, I personally do. I like his Transformers movies. Yes, granted, I was a little bit younger in my adolescence years, and let's be honest, I probably still am in my younger years and still adolescence. This also feels like a GTA inspired bank robbery heist. So I know GTA Online is a big component to the GTA 5 video game. I played it a little bit, but I have friends who do YouTube videos about it, and I have friends that play it on the daily. So it's a bank robbery heist from their perspective because I did get their take from it since they did watch it, but not with me. It's also high octane action adventure thriller through the city of Los Angeles. I noted here the drone shots alone and the cinematography with the sound incorporated with the cinematic score of this movie makes it a must see if you like what we just talked about to go see this at IMAX, because this movie feels different in IMAX. It feels like it's another must see movie to be seen in this format. Now, when I didn't watch trailers for this movie, you guys know that, but the drone shots alone, yes, it kind of gave me a little bit of anxiety or headaches. A lot of people are prone to get headaches during Michael Bay movies, and I kind of got one a little bit, but that was my fault since I went on an empty stomach. Kind of, I did have breakfast, but it was like a 4-hour delay from breakfast to the movie started. So maybe get some pizza, popcorn, or some goodies if you go to the cinemas to see this in IMAX. But when the drone shots alone change the way you look at the movie, because sometimes it scales from the building, sometimes it scales to the cars when it's like blowing up. And I also love the sound impact of like the explosions, the gun shooting, the sirens, the ambulance. When you see it in IMAX, like I said, it's a bigger screen and a louder sound. Not necessarily like Dolby, which is a deeper blacks, and also the color gamut is better in Dolby. I feel like in IMAX, because in IMAX it's just bigger and louder. However, when you see the drone shots that they have in this particular movie, yes, to be honest, it did give me a little bit of anxiety, and some people could get headaches because it's like, oh my gosh, it feels so like, it feels weird when you're watching it, like I said, in IMAX, and I had a good seat, so just be wary about that. So maybe if you want to go see this in IMAX, I feel like it is the best way to go. Now, if you don't like Michael Bay movies, you'll probably wait. It's like, how do I say this? It's like a popcorn action flick, like just eating like what happens next. So that is what you're getting into with this type of movie. So Abdul-Mateen II, which was, by the way, we also reviewed his movie in Candy Person, which I'm not going to say the name because if you say it 3 times, something bad happens. He plays as Will Sharp, a husband who has a wife that needs medical operation surgery and needs money for that. So then we get introduced to Danny Sharp, who is played by none other than Jake Gyllenhaal. And there are actually brothers, I think they like adopted or something. And the movie does beautiful like backtracking because when they were little, like they were playing with guns, they were like running around. And I like that the movie gave us a little bit backstory to these characters for this big heist, because this movie has like more action than story, which is very Michael Bay-ish, I guess you want to say, because it's more action than story. Now, granted, Transformers had like a little bit of both. His character is nice, however, he is charismatic in the beginning, but during like the second half of the film, he really changes, and it feels like Jake Gyllenhaal in this movie role. I love all his movies, by the way. I've been watching him ever since the movie with Annie Hathaway, the romance movie. I was like loving Other Drugs, but anyway, Jake Gyllenhaal feels like he's having a fun time with this movie. It feels like he's giving it his all. Now, remember when you saw Jake Gyllenhaal, if you saw this movie from Spider-Man Far From Home, when he was playing as Mysterio, he turns into like, I want to say like the evil guy during the second half of that film. However, we kind of get that in this film, but it's more expanded. It feels like that version of like, because he's screaming at his employees in Far From Home, and he's like, no, we need to do this now. And so it's so like, wow, like of course it's biased, of course, but it felt like that's how I can make a relation to it. Like it felt like that role, but just expanded to be like an everyday type of guy instead of having henchmen at his back like Far From Home. Feels like he's in that role more here. Yes, of course he's charismatic charismatic, he's charming, but he also has like anger issues. And I love how it does that because it's like he's so calm, cool, and collected. Now, there are times where his character breaks and it's like, no, I don't know what to do. But of course, you know, it's the movie. So we see Will ask Danny for like a small loan or some money that he needs for the operation surgery, but he doesn't have it. And he says that it turns into this big heist. And I love it how right away it just goes into the big, like, let's go heist. So it doesn't spend no time giving us like exposition. I mean, it gives us a little bit, but not too much in order to like to start like the action adventure octane thriller in the movie. It turns into a wild goose chase from heist gone wrong. Immediately in the less than 30 minutes, we're already getting shooting, we're already getting cops, we're already getting bags full. That's what I'm saying. It really feels like a GTA inspired bank robbery heist because that's what you do in the video game. Even in the story mode, like you choose where you want to go. So when the bank robbery goes wrong, an ambulance comes to save the day for some healing. Then we get to introduce to like the hottest EMT person, Cam Thompson, played by Asia Gonzalez. And by the way, guys, she is beautiful. She is perfection. She is gorgeous. Oh, I loved her in Baby Driver. I also loved her in Bloodshot. She was also in Godzilla vs. Kong. So I loved her in this role, building up to the scene. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, she's perfect, guys. She is perfect to me. She's a well underrated actress. And by the way, just a quick curiosity, did you know that she lost that role to Daisy Ridley for the Star Wars saga? Yeah, there is a video review interview because I did some research. She lost that role and I was like, whoa. Now I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. I did not like her character or star. It only felt like she was putting on an act face. Yeah, it shows her saving some people, but at the same time, it really felt like she was really invested in this character. But then later on, when she's having like sushi or enchiladas or whatever, she is like a BTICH. Like she does not care about the people. Like I was like, wow, she's very standoffish. She's like F you to people. And I think one of the guys that her partner, he's like, you're very good at your job, but no one wants to be your partner. And I'm like, damn, because I did not like her character in the beginning. Yes, of course, as a guy, I'm very attracted to her, but her personality just really outshined this. And this was another one like, oh, she's good looking, but she doesn't have that personality. I'm just like, oh my god, she's so standoffish. Like she just cared about the job, just taking one place to another. Like that's it. And she's supposed to be an EMT. She's supposed to be saving lives. Like she acts good, especially in this movie. Now, all the main characters are here in less than 30 minutes. They're in an ambulance. They're trying to get away, driving 60 miles an hour. Oh, by the way, William and Danny are in the ambulance trying to decide what to do along with the hostages EMT, Cam Thompson. And there's this saving dying cop in the middle of them that's like dying for like 99% of the movie. He comes and goes, like they try to stop the bleeding and they try to do some medical stuff to him. And it's very like, that's what I'm saying, high time action. And every single time you think the movie can't get any more crazier or further, and it really does. Because think about it, the rest of the movie is them figuring out the streets of Los Angeles, where to go. Cops start flipping out, drones start coming in, and the drone technology alone, I put this in this movie, it's had some cool looking shots, and sometimes it gave me anxiety just the way of looking at it, but it gave you a nice distinct version of Los Angeles from different parts of the movie with different cop cars, explosions, action, and like even the cops themselves, when they're figuring out that people like, we need you for this, hey, how you doing? The drone shots alone still make it more a spectacular experience, because let's say the drone shots right there and then there's cars, it's just such a beautiful like movie experience to see this in IMAX. The movie centers around the ambulance and how it maneuvers through the city of Los Angeles, as well as the cast inside of it talking, dealing with their problems, trying to swerve out the cops. That's what I'm saying, it's action and adventure octane thriller, like it takes from one place to the next. But I loved how the movie did this because always peeled back an extra layer of what it could have been crazy. Like there's a little medical scene in the car of the ambulance while it's driving 60 miles an hour. They're trying to do operation kind of surgery, and that's all I'm gonna say for that particular scene, because that is like bonkers what they do. But I love the cinematography because they all did this in the same amount of small space ambulance. And like, I don't know about you, but I've been in ambulance like multiple times and it's not that fun. And it's just like, it feels so like anxiety proven, especially in a small pace. Like, oh my gosh, you're gonna have a panic attack. And like, I did some interviews with this watching it, and like the acting that they do in that small space, let alone when real, like, cause I've been messed up sometimes before YouTube. Like I used to be in ambulances all the time, not for good reasons. So I can definitely feel where they're coming from. But I did love the chemistry, Jake Gyllenhaal and Abdul-Mateen II. They feel like they're real brothers. And that's what the movie really like banks on to go forward, because it is this dynamic group of characters in the small ambulance space that continues to propel the movie forward. Otherwise, it would just fall flat on its face, because if they had no chemistry, even with Cam Thompson, like her character arc is very distinct because it changes throughout the rest of the movie, because first she doesn't care about her job, but then this situation or whatever happens changes her because she's close to dying and like they threaten her to kill her. So I feel like it also influences the decisions they make, whatever they're arguing inside the ambulance. As they're getting chased, cops try to stop them, FBI gets involved, it gets very dramatic in the small place of ambulance. They argue, they fight, they argue with each other, they try making phone calls, they try to get out of this situation. It's pretty awesome how they filmed this in a small space. I've seen this in IMAX and I felt like my heartbeat was getting a little bit faster, my blood pressure rise a little bit, like I was on the edge of my seat. So I'm like, oh my god, like I did not want to go to the bathroom, and I did, and I came back right back. I used sanitizer, so it really feels like one of those popcorn popcorn flick movies. Like, I can't wait to see what happened next. Like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Like, I was in the edge of my seat. That's what it felt like to see this in IMAX. I wish they would have gave us more backstory of Cam Thompson, played by Asia Gonzalez's character, and see how she got into it. I mean, we did get some like hints of what happened, and they do talk about it. Would have been nice to see that fleshed out, but of course, it's a Michael Bay movie, so it's more like action, not storytelling. But maybe a little bit more story could have been a long way. I mean, I would have wanted to be a little bit more story, especially her character, because her character arc really changes. But even Will and Danny Sharp's, they also character changes throughout the movie, because you see them think one way, and then there's situations, different situations that arises that changes their decision and how the movie goes forward and ultimately ends. And with that comes to the ending. Every single character in this movie has a purpose and why they think the way they do, but it just felt like this was a movie I was rooting them to win. Like, I wanted them to get out. My first thought was, are they going to get out, and how? I really thought like it was gonna be going the way that I wanted to, but by the way, the ending, I hated it. Actually, no, hate is a strong word. I dislike the ending. I do respect it, but I wish it would have ended something else. Like, when you see the movie, I just wish I wanted a different ending. Like, I just would have wanted something else. I don't know. I guess money, greed, and family comes a long way, because some of the characters have that. All right, guys. So overall, this is an action-heavy ambulance, high-speed wild goose chase, drone shots, and bass-pumping soundtrack, especially seen in IMAX. Of course, from the time of the recording, Ambulance on Rotten Tomatoes has a 69 tomato critic by the critics, but however, it has an 86 audience score, and that's very good. I'm gonna give this movie, Ambulance, in IMAX, particularly in IMAX, a B, solid B. As always, guys, if you made it this far, I appreciate you so much for watching. Also, consider maybe hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications so you never miss a video, and staying up to date with the movie reviews news. With that, take care, guys.